Hi and welcome to this latest 10x leadership video. We're going to continue with the modern leadership series this week, and this is episode 39. It's about leveraging technology and how to harness AI. So just a quick refresh. If you didn't see episode 35, that's where it all started, this series, and we were talking about modern leadership and the elements that make up modern leadership. So that's adaptability, leveraging technology and inclusivity. And that's so that we can keep pace with rapidly changing environments, which is how we're all operating at the moment. And we've done adaptability in episodes 31, 36 and 37. So if you haven't already seen those, go and have a look at those. We're in the leveraging technology space now, and this is one of my favourite photos because when you talk about technology, a lot of people just think, oh no. But I'm trying to make it relevant to us as leaders in business. It's not really about the technology itself. Leveraging technology covers two areas: technology awareness, which is what we're in at the moment, and also systems thinking. We covered off Agile in episode 38. So again, if you haven't already seen that, go and watch that one. It's a good video. And what we're going to cover off this week is some of those acronyms. So AI and ML. So let's get into it. What is AI, so artificial intelligence? Now, I'm not going to make you pull that funny face you saw on the previous slide. Really, all artificial intelligence is a tool. And really it's a tool that is something that can enhance human performance. That's all tools ever are. And if you think of AI as a tool, instead of thinking about Terminator, you think your head will be more in the space of, okay, something that helps me do the job better than I could have done on my own. So the bottom picture there, somebody on a ride-on lawnmower. That's the tool that is helping, in this case, cut the grass. Now, I know what you might be thinking. I understand physical tools. I understand what a hammer does, or a spanner, or a screwdriver. Don't know what that third one is, by the way. Those are physical objects, and I know what they are. And a lot of people get worried about AI and other digital tools because they don't understand what they are. Most of the time they're just doing the same sort of thing a physical tool would do. And if you can get your head into the same sort of space where you think of a digital tool in the same way you think of a physical object, then you're halfway there, and that fear disappears, and you can then start to understand what the tool's there for and how you can use it. Because that's all a hammer and a spanner's there for, isn't it? You don't use a hammer for every single job. You use it for specific jobs, usually knocking in and removing nails. So if you're putting a screw into something, you'd use a screwdriver. And it's exactly the same with digital tools. All you need to do is understand what the tool does, and therefore when you need to use that tool. And if we just go back to that example we had before, I showed you before, of cutting the grass. We have a variety of tools that we can use to enhance human performance. And as you can see there, you could cut the grass, couldn't you, with a pair of scissors? It's still a tool. But if you really want to enhance human performance and you've got a big lawn to cut, you're not going to want to cut it with a pair of scissors. You're going to want to use the appropriate tool for the job. In this case, what looks to be a very nice ride-on lawnmower. And the bigger the job, I suppose the bigger or the more relevant the tool needs to be. And there's an awful lot that AI has to do, which is why it's a big tool and a big topic. So let's have a look. And I thought it would be useful to start off. Now we've got the sort of mindset that it is just a tool. I was just going to talk you through, I suppose, the technical definition of AI. And this isn't particularly technical at all. It's the ability of a computer or machine to perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as learning, reasoning, problem solving, or decision making. It's as simple as that, and that's as technical as I'm going to get in this video this week. And an example of that is a chatbot. So you might go on to, I don't know, your banking website, and you want to talk to a human. What you get first of all is a chatbot. Sometimes you don't know it's a chatbot, but it's usually a chatbot that filters out as many questions as it can based on the training or the programming it's been given to enhance the effort of the humans. So basically it triages queries, and it's only the ones that it can't answer that it passes on to some human, because that's a more expensive way of dealing with a query. And really AI in essence is just the umbrella term that covers everything related to machines that exhibit human-like intelligence. So think of it as the big container, and lots of phrases that you hear about AI or AI type products all fall into AI. So AI is the umbrella phrase, but there are lots of different sort of types of AI that are often very specific to a specific purpose or need, a bit like the difference between a hammer and a screwdriver. So I thought it'd be useful just to have a look at some of the things, some of the types of AI, or some of the phrases that you're likely to hear that you might be thinking, well, I don't know what that is. And if you don't know what it is, sometimes it's a bit worrying, isn't it? A bit frightening. So the first one I want to talk about is machine learning. So ML is often what you see. And very simply, machine learning is just part of AI, a subset of AI, where machines learn from data and they make decisions or predictions without being explicitly trained to do that. So an example of that would be Netflix. So lots and lots of people have got Netflix, and other systems are like this. Amazon does the same on their website. You get recommendations. You watch this, you might like this. It hasn't explicitly been programmed to tell you which programs to watch or which programs you might be interested in. The programming of the tool looks at what programs you've been watching, what films you've been watching, how long you watched them for, what categories they were from, what metadata, so what tags it's got on it, basically, that helps it look at other options that you might be interested in. And often what they do is and things like Spotify and lots of streaming services do the same, they basically look at somebody listened to track A or watch film A, and then they typically go on to watch film B or listen to track B, and it just learns that and uses that process to then present to you something that you might be interested in watching. If you are, that just reinforces that algorithm. If you don't, then it detracts from that algorithm, and it might then think, well, next time I'm going to do something slightly different. And just in terms of the relationship to AI, as I say, it's a subset. And really, if we think about AI as being the goal, the sort of intelligent behaviour that we're looking for, machine learning is one of those techniques to get there. There is a sort of subset of machine learning that is deep or deeper learning, and it uses things like neural networks, so the way that human brains think, to basically train the machine or the tool to make decisions. So you'll hear me talking later on about deeper learning. It's just a subset of machine learning. So the next one is generative AI, and there's a lot of talk about generative AI at the moment for good reason. Basically, this is artificial intelligence that creates new content. whether it's images, text, music, video, and there's loads of free tools out there as well as paid versions. There's great, if you want to have a play with things like the music one, you can tell it what genre of music you're interested in, you can give it some words or lyrics, or you can just give it some topics and it will create different types of music for you. And actually it's incredible what it can do. The same with text and a whole load of other things. And an example of this, especially on the image side of things, is DALL-E and Midjourney. They're two really well-known text-to-image generative AI tools. And there's also ChatGPT, which does the equivalent, but it does that for text, and I'll be covering that in a future video. And the relationship to AI here is that basically it uses deep learning that I mentioned before and machine learning to create whatever content you're looking for, as I say, images, text, whatever, based on patterns that it's learned through ingesting, basically hoovering up and analysing tons and tons of data. So if it's creating images, it'll look at loads of images. If it's text, it'll look at loads of text. And again, we'll come on to ChatGPT in another video, but that has hoovered up basically the whole of the internet, and you can ask it all sorts of questions and it will give you all sorts of answers. And we'll cover that in a future video. And what you do is you give generative AI prompts, and I've put a prompt there, and I'll put it in the description below. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bit of a risk here. I'm going to drag in. So there's a tool here called FreePick, so freepik.com. This is the prompt I used to create this image, which we were looking at before, which is somebody cutting their grass with a pair of scissors. What I've done is I've created, in fact I've used ChatGPT to create a prompt that I'm going to paste in here, and I'm going to show you how quickly you can create images. So I asked ChatGPT to give me a prompt to create an image, and I wanted something relevant to this video. So you can see what it says there. All I'm going to do is click on generate, and within seconds it will have taken that prompt and created a relevant image. So as you see, look at these. Look how good these images are. And I didn't say where I wanted it to be, but it's definitely futuristic and it's used appropriate styles. And you can tweak and adjust these, so you can pick one of these and then keep prompting it to in certain cases remove things, add things, change the style. But this is why they're so powerful. That took a matter of seconds to create an image. And if we go back down to this one here, the person with the scissors, if you look at the internet, you probably won't find a picture of somebody cutting the grass with a pair of scissors. So in order for me to have this image in the pack today, using ChatGPT saved me a load of time and allowed me to convey the message I wanted to convey using a text prompt to get that image. So hopefully that's given you a bit of a clue as to how quick and useful it is to be able to use things like generative AI. So let's just go on to the next one then. So I want to just cover off, there's two more sort of common phrases used around AI at the moment, and I just wanted to again remind us that the AI we're talking about, and the one that is accessible to us as individuals, as leaders, is this umbrella term about machines exhibiting human-like intelligence. You may also hear about AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. And what I just want to point out is this is still hypothetical. So it's a form of AI that can perform any intellectual task with the ability to learn, reason and adapt, but without being specifically trained for each one. And you'll hear lots of hype about AGI and how people have cracked it. And really, it's AGI, artificial general intelligence, that people are really worried about, because that's the one that's a bit more like Terminator. It would be human level intelligence rather than just specific tools that can do specific activities. The other one that we haven't got time for in this video today, but I'll be covering the next video, is LLM, so large language models. And basically that's what ChatGPT is, a generative text. Well, it does more than text now, but it started off as a generative text-based tool. So what does all of that mean to you as a leader? Well, AI is something that enhances human performance. I've said that a few times in this video. And research by PwC, one of the big consultancy firms, suggests that AI could boost employee productivity by 40% by 2035. I mean, I've heard, other people quoted in podcasts and other things significantly higher than that. So, the sort of working assumption is this can significantly enhance human performance if we adopt it. McKinsey, another big consultancy firm, estimates that generative AI could drive economic growth as well. So about $2.6 trillion to $4.4 trillion annually to the global economy. That's a massive amount of income, isn't it, and growth. And in fact, certain experts in AI, think that this is AI is the thing that is going to drive human growth and human wealth to a point that we've never seen before. 64% of businesses in a survey believe that AI will enhance their overall productivity, and it will. And that reflects AI's role in improving operational efficiency. So if you want to do things more effectively, AI is a great tool to be using and utilising. And in Australia, they found, in the real world, they found that consultancy firms have been saving 7.5 hours per week per employee, so basically a day a week, through using AI tools. And that allows them to focus on higher value tasks and improve client services. So again, a bit like the chat bot that I talked about earlier, on your banking site or app. Instead of having a human sitting at the other end triaging and dealing with the simpler calls and queries, the chatbot deals with it, and or AI deals with it, allowing humans to get on with stuff that adds even more value, adds even more wealth, I suppose, is the other thing in a sort of capitalist society. So in summary, what does this mean for you? And again, remember, this is a leadership channel. So, it's no good us thinking that we can ignore AI. It's here, it's accelerating. AI is helping AI to get better, and we're seeing breakthroughs in all sorts of areas that we wouldn't have seen had we not had AI. So, it's clearly enhancing productivity. I've used it to create these packs and the content for these packs since I started. It would take me far longer if I didn't have AI to do that. And it definitely enhances productivity. We will all be using AI. In fact, we already are. We've got Siri's been around for ages, and the equivalent in Google. There are behind the scenes AI is working and doing all sorts of things for us. We just don't realise it. So we will all be using it if we're not already. And because of that, if you don't use it in your company or organisation, choose not to use it, well, your competitors definitely will. And all that's going to happen, and I've said this many a time, mentioned it in the last video, the world keeps turning. So if you're not doing it and your competitors are, before you know it, you're going to become obsolete. If leaders in your company or organisation are understanding and utilising AI and you have no idea what it is, you're falling behind again. The other thing is it's going to be disruptive, but it's also going to provide enormous opportunities. So, in terms of disruption, it is without a doubt going to mean that jobs will, or skills will not be needed that we currently need in the workplace, because AI will replace it. There are lots of people worried about what that means, and you can look back to the Luddites. I think 1811 was when that first started, the sort of reaction to the Industrial Revolution and the breaking up and demolishing of weaving machines, because what they couldn't see was what work they were going to be doing in the future. So for hundreds of years and probably thousands of years, we keep thinking that as the world progresses, that the things that we're doing will disappear and they won't be replaced with anything. Again, if we think of AI as a tool, it will definitely replace some of the skills, and some of the people doing those skills will not be needed to do that work. Just like people who used to do weaving by hand aren't needed. We used to build cars by hand. Robots do it now. That doesn't mean that there aren't jobs out there. It just means they are different jobs. And I suppose this comes back to some of the messages I've been given in previous videos. We all need a growth mindset, because the world is turning and feels like it's turning quicker than ever. And we need to keep up with it. We need to think, well, okay, I might not be able to do that job anymore, but what opportunities and what jobs can I do? And you need to be doing the same with your team. So you need to help your team, especially those who are becoming dislocated or feel like they're not needed by the organisation or company anymore. If they've got a growth mindset and they're willing to learn, they can be doing things that they didn't ever think they were going to do. So it's about you as a leader, I suppose for yourself and for your team, being able to lead through this incredibly disruptive time, but looking for opportunities as well, both to exploit the technology, but to use the technology to help your team and your people understand what they can be doing next. So my sort of final bit of advice from this video is, again, I suppose it fits with the growth mindset. It's to explore AI. It's to learn what it can do. Go and explore what it can do. Try it out. You're going to fail, but that's absolutely fine. Learn from that. Pivot. You saw that in the last video. You're heading in one direction. You realise it's not quite the right direction. Pivot, twist, turn. Go and do something slightly different. And then utilise the technology just like you would utilise a hammer or a screwdriver or a car or any number of tools that we use on a daily basis. So don't be afraid of AI. Use it as a tool for good. That's it. I hope you found that useful. Hopefully you're not pulling the face that you saw at the start of the video. If you liked it, as ever, please like. And I've said before, it doesn't cost you anything, but it means a lot to the channel if you could if you could subscribe, if you can click the notification bell, and if you can share it with people that you think will find this useful. And I say this is all part of being a modern leader, and probably more than anything else I've talked about so far on this channel, this is the thing that you really need to know about. There isn't a sort of personal behaviour or trait, because AI is it's massive and it's only going to get bigger. And if you don't understand it now, you're definitely not going to understand it in 6 months, a year, couple of years time. So that's it. I'll see you in the next video, which I think is going to be about large language models and ChatGPT. And again, I'll just demonstrate to you how effective generative tools can be, generative AI, and illustrate to you just how much time and effort you can save. See you in the next video. Thank you very much.